Is Australia a desirable place for you to play golf?
It is. I feel like it's there's a knowledgeable golf fan base here that really understands the sport and is passionate about their players from this country, and so I respect that. And obviously, with the President's Cup here last week, the golf has major momentum right now. I think the international team was just a shade away from having a real wave of momentum. With a win, it would have been awesome, but the President's Cup is a great event, and to have it in Melbourne every so often, is a really nice thing. And it's the world spotlight in golf shines on the Sand Belt and on this country.
What are you hoping to achieve this week? There's obviously at the top end some really highly skilled players who are well known on the international circuit, and then mix that in with a lot of strong domestic players. What are you hoping to try to get out of the week?
Well, I'd like to leave here with a trophy. That's the goal. I played golf a long time, and I feel like if you set your sights highest and you really dial it in and try to achieve the best, then you're more likely to maybe get there. And it doesn't mean you will, but you're more likely to. And so it's been a long time since I had a trophy and since I won, and my wife is caddying for me this week, so that would be extra special to be able to deliver her the customary 10% cut that a caddy would receive, and no more. But it's a great time of year. Like I said before, it is a good time of year to play golf here because it's early summer and the golf season is getting kicked off. But the way our schedule is and the way my particular schedule is on the US Tour right now, I'm on a medical extension, and so it might be a month before I play in a tournament. And so the opportunity to come here and fill the gap with a great event like this really was appealing to me. And my wife has never been anywhere down under before, and so we've been trying to put this on the calendar for a little while now, and we almost made it last year, but we had to back out at the last second. And so this year we added New Zealand, a little holiday before we came here.
Last question before I throw to the guys. Do you think your game is at that level to be the person on Sunday evening holding that trophy aloft?
I do. I feel like I'm playing as well as I've played in my whole career. And as I get older now, I'm 46, my perspective and my expectations probably are changing a little bit. But I feel like if you break down the way, if you break down golf into the categories, the short game and all that, I think that I'm playing better golf now than I've played any time in my career. And I had some really good long runs where I've had really good finishes and a lot of wins on the US Tour. And so the game of golf is a lot deeper now than it used to be. But I think I have what it takes to compete. And I've had some brushes with really good success over the last couple of years at times, and I've had some down moments. But I think as you age, you can still reach the highest. You can reach the highest level of form, but you might not be able to stay there as often. And so you have to be willing to expect a few little troughs along with the peaks.
Stuart, we just had Greg Chalmers in here talking about his sort of enforced layoff. Obviously, you took time away to care for Lisa and be there for her. Did that re-energise you and make you give you extra momentum to carry into this part of your career?
It did, actually. My wife going through, well, she's still going through it. She's not out of the woods, but she's doing great. She's really had a tremendous response, and she's really doing fantastic. But watching her dig in and fight with everything she had through the time of her diagnosis and her chemotherapy in 2016, it really caused me to sort of turn the mirror around and look at myself and see, like, well, if she's fighting like this, what am I not doing? And I'm not fighting for my life necessarily, but I got something pretty important to me and our family to fight for. And it opened my eyes a little bit, and I kind of I dug around in some corners that maybe I hadn't dug around in for a few years, and it gave me a new sense of intensity and intention when I was out there practicing every day and going through all the off-the-course things I need to do. And the result was it showed up in better scores, and it gave me sort of this new confidence that I think I can compete and I can carry this all the way past my 50th birthday, and who knows what happens after that.
We've got young Cameron Champ out here who hits it 350 yards regularly. When you see guys like him turn up on tour, how do you believe and take the belief that the old guys can still outmaneuver these young guys when it comes to 72 holes?
Well, I know there's a lot of talk about power in the game of golf, and that's true. Power is important, and I think without it, it's really hard to compete. But you don't have to have 350 yards to do that. That's an extra feather in your cap, and it can be very useful if harnessed in the right way. But you don't have to be that long to be able to be competitive. You just have to be adequate, and I'm well more than adequate in driving distance, and that's never been an area where I had any trouble. And I don't know if it's equipment or if it's just being smart about the way my fitness and my swing mechanics or what, but I haven't really lost any. So that's not an issue for me, and I don't see driving distance as being something that I'm wowed by the young players. I'm more wowed by the seasoned nature of their ability to just play great golf when they first come out on tour and no one knows their name. It used to be, there was a 2 or 3 year, getting your feet wet period out on the PGA Tour before you even were considered to be, ready for success, and that doesn't exist anymore. The players come out now having played college and junior golf against the best players more often, amateur golf, and they're seasoned and ready to go. So when they hit the tour, as evidenced by Matthew Wolff, Colin Morikawa, and Victor Hovland this year, they tore it up right away. That didn't used to happen, 15, 20 years ago. And it's happening now, and it's going to keep on happening more. So whereas I used to sit down at the lunch table with guys like Curtis Strange and Peter Jacobson and Lee Jansen and pick their brain and figure out what they're doing that I'm not doing, now I sit down at the table with guys like Matthew Wolff and try to pick their brain and figure out what they're doing that I'm not doing. It's just the roles are reversed because the game has changed a little bit, and I have to do what I can to try to figure out why they're having success immediately right now and I'm not.
You mentioned your own international experience and willingness to travel. The PGA Tour has moved into Japan and Korea, and given the back of the President's Cup and the success we saw, do you see a day where the PGA Tour will host an event down here?
Well, that's big business, and I'm not privy to that kind of information anymore. I've served a term on the policy board when I was privy to that, but right now I'm just a rank and file member of the tour. Thank goodness. So I don't know if that's in the plans or not. I certainly wouldn't put it past having an event here. I mean, the President's Cup's been successful every time it's been here, and one of the most common and most dependable statistics you can look at when deciding where to put your next events is success in past events in that area. And the Sandbelt golf is legendary around the world. It's not just known here. So it's I would say it would be more than just reasonable, but exciting to see a tournament come here.
Stewart, power and distance is a big topic in golf and professional golf. From your side of things, would you like to see it brought back a little bit, or does the advancements in technology actually give players of your age more of a chance to compete against the guys who hit it a little bit further but not crazy distance further?
No, I've never really been in favor of pulling anything back, and the reason is because I think the health of the game of golf in general is a bigger deal than whether a guy like Cameron Champ can hit it 350 yards. To me, that's exciting. I love watching him hit balls. So to take that away, to me, would not really be focused on what we need in golf. Golf is not a big enough industry to just succeed on its own if we keep, throttling it back. And so I don't think rolling back the ball or anything would be good. I think people like to watch guys hit it far, and gals too, hit it far, and it's fun for all of us. It's fun for my dad, to be able to hit it a little further. And if we change the rules, and if, let's say, we played by a different set of rules out here, I just don't think that makes sense. I think one of the best things about golf is that players that don't play in tournaments and don't play on TV, they can use the same exact equipment as like a Dustin Johnson, and it actually gives them a perspective on how good that guy is at driving the golf ball. When they see him hit those drives like he does, or Cameron Champ, or even Stewart Cink, I mean, they can see wow, that is amazing that they can do that with that club and that ball, the same one I can use, and I can't do it. I can't stand at the three-point line with a contested guy in my face and hit a shot at the buzzer. I might be able to 1 out of 50 times, but in the NBA, they do it with regularity. The ball's the same size, the rim's the same height and the same circumference, but I recognize that takes amazing talent and work to be able to do that.
And talking about playing around the world, this week, European Tour event, if you were to win and you get status in Europe, is that a real option for you next year, given you're coming back from your medical in the States?
It is absolutely an option. And I haven't filled out the paperwork yet, but I do plan to initiate the affiliate thing. So I'm just learning about all that. But yeah, I like playing around the world, and I've enjoyed playing in the European Tour events, the odd one here and there that, you know, I'll turn up and I'll get a few slanted looks from some of the players like, what are you doing here? and that's fine. I like that. But my wife and I love traveling, and we're in a stage where our kids are all in university or beyond and out of the house, and it's just the two of us. She comes everywhere I go, and it's fun for us to see other places besides the regular stops on the US Tour that I've seen now for 23 years.
Stewart, just following on from Jimmy there, it's 10 years since you won your British Open. Just in terms of driving distance then till now, is it pretty much exactly the same, or what would you call it?
My own?
Yeah,
is
your own
probably my own probably is within 3 or 4 yards of being the same as it was then. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I would say that in 2009, you have to go back and look at the statistics if you can find it, but I would say I was probably in the top, I was around the 25th percentile in driving distance, and now almost at the exact same distance, I'm probably in the 50th percentile. I might even be a little bit higher than that. I'm not sure. But it seems like the short hitters have gotten longer, and kind of the caboose has caught up with the train a little bit. And the guys that hit it forever, I mean, there's always going to be a Cameron Champ that is, you have to like almost cancel him out. But there's that next set of guys that we all know that hit it really far. There's Bubba and Dustin and Rory, and I'm going to leave somebody out, Brooks. Those guys hit it really far. But I don't think they're hitting it further now than they were in, say, 7, 8 years ago. A big thing is, and the USGA is in the RNA too, they are really concerned about distance, but they measure all drives. And there's technology out there available. If you play on the PGA Tour, you have the access to the ShotLink information. You guys probably know what ShotLink is. It's tracking where it shows you where all the shots go. We got like 20 million data points now since 2003. You can do a lot with 20 million data points. So you can take a hole. You can take a hole where in the past it might be a layup hole where you'd lay it up, say, to the short or left side of the bunker, and it's a little too far to carry. You could probably carry it, but it might not be worth the risk. You take that hole, and you look at all the dots where the players lay up, and you take a look at all the dots where the players go past the bunker, and it's like 0.3 strokes better for the guys that go past the bunker. It doesn't matter if you hit in the rough or fairway. All the shots that go past, you play the hole in lower scores. So if you're armed with that kind of information, you're going to take driver more often. Now, that doesn't mean that technology has enabled you to hit the driver further. Well, ShotLink has enabled you to hit your golf ball further, but technology is not letting you hit the driver further. We're deciding to hit it farther because of statistical information like that. If I stand on the first tee and I look at all 18 holes, really there's about anywhere from 3 to 5, 6 holes a day like that where you have to decide. If you choose the incorrect way, you're playing to a par of 73, 74. If you choose the correct way, you're playing to a par of 70. I would rather play to a par of 70 than a 74. Yeah. And so I'm going to choose to drive it further because the stats say I got a better chance of playing the golf hole in less shots if I hit it further. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. We're deciding to hit it further. We're not hitting it further because our driver's going farther or the ball's going further. We're deciding to go further. So if you measure all drives, the holes where in 2006 we were hitting a lot of 2-irons and 3-woods, now guys are just sending it over everything. It skews the data. And you look at all that collectively and say, whoa, we got a problem. The ball's going further. But it's not going further because the ball is. It's because the player is deciding to send it further.
So is that presented to you in a really simple to digest manner, or do you have to go and search it out?
You have to search it out. And you have to know what you're looking for, and it takes a lot of, for me, it takes a lot of hiring the right people to do that. No, that's not completely true. I know how to find all that information, but it's really handy, and there are statisticians out there that can be hired that will give you a service that basically prints it out and spoon feeds it right to you. I don't use one of those, but there's a couple guys that do that, and it's a good business, and some pretty high profile players have used a service like that for a long time, and you know, it's not just driving off the tee too. It's hole locations and where you just don't want to hit it, like bunkers or, you know, a little, maybe there's a collection area down to the right of a pin. And statistically, you can find information like guys don't get it up and down from there. Don't hit it there. So you can arm yourself with information now. So if you want to talk about technology changing the game, you have to include that as much as you have to include TrackMan and the kind of video we have and club heads and golf balls. It all is one big category of technology. It's not just making the driver hit the ball further.
Yeah, I hadn't really computed that myself. That's
Yeah,
very interesting.
but I believe that the ruling bodies are missing that. They're missing that, and they're in a situation where they feel like the golf ball and the driver are out of hand. But it's not just that. I mean, it's the golf ball and driver. When you do a lot of your work and get your flight and your launch optimized, can go a long way. Yeah, but it's not any different now than it was 10 years ago. It's a little bit better. You have a better chance of optimizing now because we have more technology that tells you exact spin rates and landing angles and all that. But a lot of it comes down to just deciding whether you're going to lay up or you're going to send it. And if you send it, that goes into the record books as a drive that went further than if you laid up.
Yeah, true. You've had one of that elite companies got the supreme achievement of winning a major. Can you tell us some of the oddest places your British Open trophy has been? Where funky things you've done around the house or things like that? Yeah,
the oddest place probably was it ended up in a commercial when I was representing Nike Golf back in the days before they stopped their operation. I was with Lucas Glover, one of my best friends, and he won the US Open, and then I won the British Open, you know, the next major. So me and one of my best friends won our back-to-back majors. It was pretty awesome, and we were both with Nike at the time. And so we came to do a little filming for a commercial for Nike, and when I got there, I had done an outing with a corporate outing that had requested me to bring the jug. So I brought it and showed it off, and, you know, good fun. And so I showed up at the Nike thing, and I had the jug in the case. Didn't tell anybody. And when they gave the rundown on here's what we're doing, you know, with this spot, they said, we're going to have the US Open trophy here, and we're going to have the British Open trophy here. We have mock-ups. And you and Lucas are, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I said, well, guys, we're not using a mock-up. I got the real one right here with me. Let's use it. And they're like, you think so? So we used it. And Lucas's is a mock-up, but mine was the real one. And I think the idea was like I came in to get coffee out of the coffee dispenser, and it was empty. And they showed Lucas drinking it out of the jug, and I was like, Lucas, you know, took the last cup. So, but then, yeah, that was the oddest thing that it ended up, and I got a little bit reprimanded for that, by the way. But other than that, there really wasn't a lot of real adventure that the Claret jug went on when it was in my possession. I loaned it out a little bit. I'm very fortunate in Atlanta, Georgia, where I live, that I've got some memberships, honorary memberships at some clubs, and all of my honorary memberships got to keep the jug for 1 month. No questions asked. Sometimes it just sat in a case for a month, and sometimes they had the member guest, and you know, you can imagine what happened. But I shared it and let the other people around kind of take it and have a good time with it. But no issues, and it was fun to have it for sure. It's a really, really neat memory to be able to share that with people.
No dents on it that you provided?
Nope, no dents at all.
What about your kids? Did they do anything with it? Drink orange juice out of it?
You know, it really doesn't get a lot of action now. You know, the replica is really great to have because it's a reminder, but it's also the replica. And so the one funny thing about the replica that I probably shouldn't tell you guys because you're members of the public media, but Turnberry is misspelled on my replica.
You're kidding. How have they spelled it?
Turnbury. And everyone likes to say, like, oh my gosh, you should have them change that. But I don't want to change it because it's an oddity. It's a one-off thing, you know. I just like the story, and there's no chance I'm getting it changed.
Probably going to be worth even more money.
I hope so. I hope so. But I like the fact that it's misspelled. It gives it a little bit different kind of character. And, you know, sometimes like baseball cards are more valuable if they're printed in reverse or something. Yeah.
I noticed on your bio you're a mad barbecue man. Is there any threat that you're going to search out some Aussie ribs over here and just see the quality over here?
Well, as much as I'm on this side of the scale, my wife is on the other side of the scale on the barbecue spectrum. And so we meet in the middle, and that means we don't really seek out barbecue when we're on the road together. She'll let me go out, and if I hear of a place, and I'm open to suggestions, then I will seek it out. But I really don't know that much about Aussie barbecue. I do know that I saw in the Virgin Australia magazine, who I flew over here, that Traeger, which is a big pellet smoker, really nice grill that's in Salt Lake City, Utah, had a full-page ad. So they must think there's a market in Australia for that.
Yeah, Stewart, I just wonder if you have any special thoughts about 2009 in Turnberry. I guess some people thought you might have shot Bambi that week, but do you have any thoughts about any particular moment, maybe in the playoff, or anything in particular about your win? And congratulations on your win, by the way.
Thank you. As it relates to Tom, there's really no particular moment that I have that's a memory, other than throughout the whole thing, he was just perfectly gracious, just like you would expect any, you know, highly regarded champion to be. He couldn't have been any nicer, and he was just as respectful of me as the winner as I would have been of him as the winner. And so, you know, I felt like when Tom finished the regulation, that making bogey on that hole, that I just had an opportunity, because I felt like his energy just took a little step down. And it's so important to have the energy in that situation. And I felt like I had it, because I'd finished strong with a birdie on 72nd. And so I felt super confident. I just felt like there was no way I was going to lose that. And yeah, I played really well in the playoff. I probably played better in the playoff than I played at any point during the entire week. I just played great. Didn't really miss a shot. And so, but the memories, you know, it's been 10 years, but I remember it like it was yesterday. I mean, I still have plenty of little spots here and there, like, you know, tapping in, or, you know, the first shot in the playoff, watching Tom, his driver, and being like, whoa, he is not going away. So it's, you know, the memories, even though they're 10 years old, they're still very fresh. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
One quick one, can I?
Yeah.
Surely that gets you membership. You don't have to fill out any forms this week. Surely you just turn up with a replica and go, can I play this week?
Yeah.
You don't need a European Tour affiliate
Well,
piece of paper, do you? Surely.
no, I mean, I do actually, because, I mean, it's part of the regulations, yeah. Yeah. It's because for me to, for the points or the purse money that I make to qualify for the race to Dubai, then I need to be at least officially an affiliate member. That's it. Hey, it's a short memory kind of a sport we live in, golf. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Okay? All right. Thank you.